Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, I told you before, and I will tell you again, these guys, which is the forces of good, will use the Patriot systems as being the big savior of the war. I'm talking about the Ukrainian side. And, after they alleged that they downed seven missiles, hypersonic missiles coming from Russia, the Kinzhals. Now they say that Putin is done, Russia lost its upper hand if it had any, and therefore we can do whatever we want with the Russians, so everybody just sit tight. I said that the moment they claimed that they destroyed the first Kinzhal, I said in 3 weeks they will come and say it. Within 3 weeks they will come and say it. We're gonna start slowly, and then we're gonna go and say we can do whatever because their nuclear arsenal means shit, because they can't use it, because if they send missiles, we're gonna down a new Patriot by the Patriots. I made an article yesterday where they moved fast. They moved fast. They got from 0 to 100 in 2 days or 3 days. They're right there. And I have this article that came also yesterday. And unfortunately, it's an UK or British infantry colonel that he writes this piece for the Telegraph, and he says the same thing. The other article was something like Putin's nuclear deterrent and weapons is null and void. That was the title. I made that video, and you can find it on my channel, and I will show you exactly what I was talking about. And now we have this little article with this colonel that I think he's doing the same thing. So the title of this article is "The failure of Russia's Wunderwaffe is game over for Putin." Basically, it's done. That's it. These are all finite terms, ultimate terms. Game over. So the failure, it's a statement right there. It's an affirmative right there. The failure is not that alleged or anything. Of Russia's Wunderwaffe is game over for Putin. So that is like, they're done, man. That's it. This starts from Colonel Richard Kemp. So Richard Kemp on the bottom, they tell us, that is a former infantry commander. My bad, I thought it was a colonel? Colonel, yeah, infantry commander. So this is it. And let me show you yesterday, I made this video right here, the first one. I was right again. Propaganda promotes the myth of the West. This is 18th. The myth of the West's invincibility after Kinzhal downed. So this was the video I made yesterday about this. I was right. Propaganda promotes the myth of West invincibility after Kinzhal downed. And now, ram pam pam, we have this one. So I featured that article, as I said, null and void. And again, he says that I was in Kiev on Monday night when Ukraine's capital was hit by its biggest missile attack since the war began. It was more than just another attempt to terrorize the city. Blah, 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 tra-la-la. And then he said here that in half an hour the city was attacked from the north, south, and east. In came ballistic missiles, Iranian Shahed loitering drones, Caliber hypersonic cruise missiles launched from warship in the Black Sea, and Kinzhal hypersonic missile fire from MiG 31K fighter planes. He doesn't know that. While being in Kiev, he doesn't know what kind of weapons came flying. Let's put or from where. You got that? So right now, what what says here is not what he says, because he could not know what delivered what. He has never seen a hypersonic or heard a hypersonic missile to know it was a hypersonic missile. So all of a sudden, he lost me. Anyway, let's move on. Let's give him a pass. The result of this tremendous firepower was nothing short of abject humiliation for Putin. This is according to the Ukrainians. Again, I watched, so this is what he says. Again, there's no way for him to know all these things. I watched as Ukraine's combined air defense forces, including American Patriots and German Gepards, seemingly knocked every Russian missile out of the sky. Just 3 people were injured by falling rocket debris. There was minimal physical damage, and by daylight the city has returned to normal as though nothing has happened. Remember, he says, I watched as Ukraine's air defense forces, including this, seemingly knocked out. First, you are, I think, 1,000 years old, Mr. Colonel, so I'm guaranteeing you were not in the middle of the war. So you probably were somewhere in a bunker, okay? So you watch it over the TV. You were not over there. And you were not around the American Patriots, neither the German Gepards. Let's put this to rest. You were not over there, so you don't know, you didn't watch anything but what was on the TV. Was anything on the TV? The bloggers, that now they get arrested, right? So you were not part, this colonel, former, right, whatever he is, right? This former has no military duties in Ukraine, so he can't possibly be allowed around those weapons. I guarantee you that, not possibly. I guarantee you that he was not around the American Patriots and German Gepards. All right, and he says, okay, knocked every. How do you know? I mean, unless you are somewhere like God above everybody and saw which one got hit by which. This is what you're being told, my man. All right, so nothing had happened, man. Okay, so this event symbolizes both Ukrainian resilience and Russian weaknesses, especially the latter. So this is, I think this guy was paid or something? I don't know. This sounds very irrational, but anyway. And then he goes back here to say something. The harsh reality underlined in the latest apparent downing of all 6 Kinzhals fired. Apparent. Good job. Fired at Kiev had added to questions about Russia's ability to project military power. So it has any power or not? Questions, including its nuclear arsenal. That means hitting those things neutralized the nuclear arsenal, which has been the most significant factor in deterring all-out Western support for Ukraine. That means if we removed this, Russia's ability to the military power, project military power with its Kinzhals, right here, he makes the point, that means we removed the factor that was determining the all-out Western support for Ukraine. So attack Russia. I triple dare you. Well, they're not idiots. You know, this is for consumption, for idiots consumption, okay? So it's not going to be anything like that. So again, commanders on the ground that I spoke to this week, while I don't even have to read this one because it's just the morale, the bravery, the tralalulu. Anyway, again, but it would be foolhardy to take any of this as an indication that the future Ukrainian victory is guaranteed. That means we have to still give them weapons and be here and seem important. That's what he is. A lot of military, I tell you this, general, they are back to life. When there's no wars, they are like dead. Now they are in the middle. They are the most important guys over there. They give orders. They are, interviewed. They come alive. Before that, nobody knows about them. Do you think they don't have egos? Or ego? Oh my God. So anyway, this colonel that unfortunately he tells things that he couldn't be possible witnessing. I guarantee he was not on the ground seeing everything in Kiev. Where the hell were you? Somewhere up there, like 200 meters, to see every rocket being blown up? I mean, this guy is just I'm not going to name it, but you kind of guess what I want to say. This is my interpretation of whatever he said. And I told you, this guy said it clearly over there. The Kinzhal had it's not only the Kinzhal, this guy talks, but anyway, it's the Kinzhal and anything else can be shot down by Patriots, in the big ballistic missiles, intercontinental ballistic missiles, those can be hit because they are slower than the Kinzhals. They're not hypersonic, so therefore if we can hit those down and the hypersonic, that's it, man. We can shoot at them how much we want because they cannot shoot back. That's the whole point, there's this whole mantra that is transmitted. And I told you that when the first attack on Kiev with Kinzhal, that, we downed a Kinzhal, let's celebrate, let's dance a hora here. I said that day with that article, in 3 weeks is going to be something like this and even worse. They're going to be more proeminent individuals coming and saying this kind of BS. This is just a retired colonel who he should know better. But I think the same. Sometimes people, time passes and anyway, you know what I mean? I can say it here, right? I will say it on Rumble, but not here. And see when Rumble is going to punch me in the face for telling my assessment of a guy who obviously doesn't tell the whole truth, or at least he interprets it in such a way that doesn't represent reality. But anyway, he does that. He's over there in the Guardian. His kids, grandkids are all hailing the former colonel that right now he's back to life as well. Important more than ever. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just. Thank you for being with me again today, my friends.